Welcome everyone. This is the USMLE Sarthi team, and this is our annual webinar. So what we'll do today is we have our match students from the 2022 match, and they will primarily talk about their challenges and what hurdles they had to overcome this match. And we have a variety of students, as you can imagine. So some with an older YOG, some with lower scores, some who could not do rotations in the US, so only tele rotations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the table and probably ask them to introduce themselves and give a brief idea in a couple of minutes of the specific challenges each one of them had. Of course, many of them had multiple challenges, so we'll kind of see how this goes. So let me just read out some of the challenges that we thought would be very relevant. The first challenge is, of course, many of the applicants have an older YOG, right? So we had on our panel a lot of applicants with an older YOG. So I'll start off maybe with Fatima. So if you can introduce yourself. Okay, so let's get started. Fatima, like I said, why don't we kick it off with you? Introduce yourself and just talk about the challenges you faced.
Hello everyone. Thank you for Pavan for giving me the opportunity. So as you know, I'm Fatima. I graduated in 2013 and I did not follow the conventional pathway for USMLE. I even did not started the USMLE journey till 2017. By the end of 2017, I was visiting family in US and then got to know their US healthcare system and I was pretty impressed by it. So I started my journey in 2017. And at that time, I was in Middle East. I took the Middle East exam. I had already taken the Middle East exam and I was practicing as a general practitioner. So I started a bit late. And on top of that, my score in USMLE Step 1 wasn't great. It was below the average, that is 220. It was 219. So I was quite devastated at the moment and I wanted to leave the journey. But somehow, like my friends and my family, they supported me and they said like I should give it a try. I can do it. So I took rest of the exams, and in 2019 I migrated to Canada. And then a friend of mine told me about USMLE Sarthi, and I remember I called Pavan in December, and I was just sitting there waiting for my ECFMG certificates, and he mentioned that every gap in your CV, it matters. And he pushed me to start the rotations right away. So I joined some tele rotation. I tried to gain as much US clinical experience as much possible, and I joined a few of great rotations from USMLE Sarthi, and I'm glad I joined USMLE Sarthi. And I tried to improve my scores in step 2 CK and step 3. And one thing I would like to mention, for all graduates, you should have your step 3 scores ready by the start of September at least. It makes a huge difference. I matched in my first cycle and it wasn't possible without USMLE Sarthi family. They were always there. My mentor was Dr. Nimit Desai. He responded to my text on WhatsApp within 30 minutes, and Pavan was there. They made sure that I get my LORs on time. And when it came to interviews, uh, I got a family, USMLE family and friends with whom I could practice my interviews. And I didn't have enough confidence in the beginning, but by the end of interview season, I felt like I could do it on my, like, I could do it naturally. And I was speaking and I was very confident giving the interviews. So I would always be thankful to Pavan and USMLE family. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima. So, Moomin, let me go to you. And you had applied late, correct? And you have an older year of graduation as well. So, you applied in December, I think, and you had an older year of graduation. So, talk to the audience about the implications of applying late, but then how did you make up?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Pavan, for giving me this opportunity. My name is Moomin. I'm from country of Sudan. Early on, when I was in medical school, I knew that I wanted to become a U.S. physician. So my focus was to actually be here in America. All my focus, I put it as soon as I graduated in 2012. I was here in the United States. So one of the biggest challenges I actually had is I had to work, support myself. So it was very hard for me to balance between two jobs, working regular jobs and studying from my boards. Uh, and I knew that was going to take me some time to be working full time and doing the board. So I just had to like prioritize, and also I had to find a way to stay clinically relevant. I knew that it's going to take me a long time to finish my board. So my first job actually here, I started working as a security officer in a hospital. I made connections. Yeah, made connection that way. And every doctor I met in the hospital, I asked them for if I can do clinical experience with them, if I can shadow them, and it worked fine. I gained over 28 months of clinical experience in my 5 year working in a hospital. So, and I worked my way up from a security officer 3 years, and then I got recognized after I passed my first board. I worked as an ECG technician, pacemaker technician. So even though all those jobs that I worked was in cardiology, I ended up matching in neurology. So that's been said, like it really matters, like getting that clinical experience, even if it was not in your path, it does help. Like getting to know the U.S. system ins and out. That has a huge impact. So my advice is to do not rush the USMLE exam, just to avoid like being an old grad. You have to find some way to stay involved in the clinical settings. I matched in neurology in University of Arizona after 10 years, after applying from my first time. And I actually applied late, as Pavon said. I applied actually in December 7th because I took my step two last September, and then I had to take the OAT. I could have taken the step two earlier, but I wasn't ready and I was not going to rush it. So there's always a way. You need to take your time to make sure you get at least in the average boards. And also on my other advice, the programs, they look at the application as a whole. They just don't look at just your USMLE scores or your rotations. So you have to work in every aspect of the application. And that's where USMLE Sarthi family really helped me. I was very, very nervous about interviews after 10 years. Getting my first interview in neurology, I was not confident at all. So Sarthi, the team really helped in that. I did a lot of mock interviews with neurologists that gave me a good confidence, and a big part of getting accepted into residency is the interview part. It has a huge impact. So yeah, my advice is to uh, you have to balance. Take your time, study, but you have to fight. You have to be clinically relevant. It's not like you just study for the boards, and after you finish the boards, you go to the next step. So that's my advice, and I'm very grateful, and I could have not done it without USMLE Sarti team. They helped me all the way, and I was very confident on my interviews. And I had only 2 interviews, and in both interviews I rocked and I did really well. Thank you so much, Pavan.
Thank you, Moomin. And I think what you also bring about is the importance of networking. I mean, you started in a hospital in a non-clinical, you said the security kind of a job. So importance of networking cannot be emphasized enough. It is all about how you build those connections, how you kind of reach out to the attendings, the physician for any opportunity. Is that right?
Yes, of course. It has a huge impact in just even like somebody has to vouch for you, especially as IMGs. it's very competitive. It's very hard. You have to make connection and do not be shy. You have to, every opportunity you get, you have to seek it, ask for help. And that's how actually my work helped. Like I was in the hospital, any physician I see, I just approach them nicely, professionally, ask for their, if I can do some shadowing in my days off. So all of my days off, I used to do shadowing. I had endocrinology rotation, surgery rotation, neurology rotation in every part. Every time I work in a different hospital, I make sure I make connection, and that really helped me too when it was time for me to apply. Getting those letter of recommendation, those strong letter of recommendation from top-notch physicians, that helped me a lot in my journey.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me go to Jannat. Jannat, you want to come in and talk about older YOG and how you overcame?
Yes, sure. So good morning, everyone. Good afternoon here in Pittsburgh. But first of all, I want to say congratulations to all the applicants who've matched. You've made it this far, and I hope that we're an inspiration for the applicants that are to follow. And my journey has been very interesting in the sense that I have an older year of grad. I graduated in the year 2014. Apart from that, I did have a gap in my CV for around a year and a half because I could not really start studying for my USMLE right away because of some, family commitments and issues that were going on at that time. So I started late, and definitely I did have anxiety about the fact that, will I ever be able to complete this journey in time? Because I had heard that, once you pass the 5-year mark, or, it becomes very difficult. And but you know what, despite that, I kept pushing and kept going. The way I believe that I overcame these challenges was just like doing my USMLE exams and then doing the step 3 right after. I would definitely encourage any applicants who are, especially the ones with an older year of grad, to focus on your USMLE step 3. It makes a very big difference in your overall application. And I have actually applied multiple times. This was my 3rd attempt on, applying for the actual match. And last year when I didn't match, it was obviously very devastating. And that is when I reached out to USMLE Sarthi. I found out through a friend about them, about you guys, and eventually talked to Pavan, and he, really, really gave me a new hope, thinking that, this was definitely possible, and, I would be able to do it. And they guided me on every step of the way. I feel like there was so much support for me, USMLE Sarthi. I literally have no words to thank them, and no words to thank you, Pavan, especially. We, as IMGs, we feel lost a lot of the times during the journey, and I feel like USMLE Sarthi was definitely, like a friend. That's what I tell everyone, like a friend during the journey who's constantly there for you to support you. One other thing that I really want to talk about is the fact that when we're making our application, there are so many small technicalities that we are not aware of as applicants, that programs are looking for in our application. They are looking for those things in our personal statement. They're looking for those things in the way the CV is laid out. And these things you usually are not aware of until you're told these and, you discuss them. So USMLE Sarthi took out the time, reviewing all of our application multiple times, our CV multiple times, helping us with the PS, editing the PS, and just being there for us, because obviously we're from a medical background and not everyone has those skills of writing and being so technical with the way we use our semantics and the way things are formatted. So I feel like that very, very much helps as well. Apart from that, I would like to also say that my scores were not, as they weren't high up there in terms of the NRMP average. And I did match into internal medicine this year. I believe that, low scores are definitely a red flag, but there are ways to overcome it. A big thing that I found was very useful was the interview prep, because it really sets you apart from other candidates when you're able to put yourself out there and really, as we say, sell yourself, or be able to, present yourself the way what the program is looking for. So really preparing yourself for the interview, having program specific, answers for the interview questions is really important. Here again, USMLE Sarthi was there for us, helping us format each and every answer to our questions. and not just, showing up to the interview without, having any idea of what they're going to ask us. I had 3 interviews only, but I will definitely say I felt very confident going in the interview. And although there are obviously some questions that may throw you off, but for the majority of the part, I felt like the interview was under my control. And again, I would like to thank you, Samali Sarthi, for that. And I wish all the other applicants, like for the next year, good luck. And I really hope that we can be of use to you guys. So good luck.
Thank you, Jannat. And by the way, to our audience, the students are very gracious. What they have not told you is it is their hard work that made them match. So yes, Sarthi guides them, but the hard work you cannot emphasize enough. It's the hard work and the dedication to match. Let me now go on to Gunjan. Gunjan, again, older YOG. So talk to us about how you overcame that.
Thank you, Pavan, and congratulations to everybody for a successful match. My name is Gunjan, and I am what you call a non-traditional applicant. I have an older year of graduation, which is 10 plus. I have a step 1 attempt. I have major gaps, so it's full of red flags. But I also have positives on my application. My application was very specialty specific. I had home country experience. I had a little bit of research experience after my gap. Although it was not patient facing, it was still clinical research. And most of all, I had a very overall specialty specific CV, PS, and interview answers. So that matters a lot. I'm not saying that if you're applying to multiple specialties, you stand a poor chance. But if you're applying to one specialty, it really helps having a very overall specialty specific CV, PS, and LORs. And in terms of how Sarthi helped me, I reached out to Pavan like last year, just after my step 1, and he was very confident that I will definitely match. And I can certainly say that confidence pushed me to take my next step. I enrolled in Sarthi for interview prep, and I can confidently say that the mock interviews that I took and the group that I was a part of on Telegram helped me a lot. The mock interviews really changed my interview style. They motivated me. They told me that I need to be confident. I have positives, and I have to be confident about my negatives as well. I should be able to answer them gracefully. I had few interviews, but my interviews went well. So I am very thankful to Pavan and his team, everybody on his team. I'm thankful to my fellow panelists and thankful to the entire Telegram group. All the answers helped me a lot. And I'll be happy to answer questions on the live chat or on the Q&A.
Thank you, Gunjan. I think some of the questions are coming in the chat. So if you can take a look. So Travis, you had only tele rotations. Is that correct? So talk to us the challenges and how you matched only with only tele rotations, and also tell our audience where are you from, because you are from a cricket playing nation, and many of our audience, they like cricket. So
hi, good day everyone. I just want to give you a little information. I graduated in 2017. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, which you all may or may not know. It's a country in the Caribbean. I did all of my USMLE exams last year. So from January, I did step 1. And then in July, I did step 2. In December, I did step 3. So it's definitely possible if you think you are on a time crunch. So I think that I was really grateful to the USMLE Sarthi team, because coming from my country, and we don't have many applicants to USMLE and my medical school as well. So I did not have like a mentor to guide me on this journey. So definitely I needed someone who could have been able to help me along the way, tell me what to do, tell me what would work and wouldn't work. So I remember the beginning of last year, I thought that I had a very weak profile, but by the beginning of March season, I thought that I had grown my profile into something that I was proud of. So I just want to share a few tips to you all on things that you think could possibly work. So one of my biggest advantages, I think, was my home country experience. Before I did my first tele rotation, I did not realize that my home country experience was valuable. But after talking to the first attending that I did tele rotations with, she really appreciated my home country experience. And then I realized that, you know, working in your home country, it's a big deal. You can pick up a lot of experience along the way, and it is truly appreciated in every interview that I attended. They always ask about it. They always wanted me to explain what I do and how I do it. And I work in a NICU department as a house officer, so they were really appreciative of that. And I did not have any in-person US clinical experience. I did a couple tele-rotations, but I was actually able to do this while I was working as a house officer. So I would go to work during the day, then I would come home on afternoons and I would join the attendings in their clinics in the afternoon sessions to see patients with them. And they really appreciated that. They knew that I was a full-time doctor, and they knew that I was joining them on my free time when I had after I finished work on the evenings. So once you explain these things to them, they are really appreciative of it. And if you could continue working while you are studying, I think this is a really great thing as well. It would help you avoid gaps on your CV, which was one thing that I think had going for me because I didn't have any gaps. And definitely take advantage of what we have right now with the remote connectivity that we have, because I was able to do the rotations online. Definitely, I know there's a push towards doing it in person if you can, but if you can't, and you could only work in your home country and you can pursue tele-rotations, I think it's something that looks good as well. They definitely see that you are trying, you are working within the resources that you have, within the constraints. They know that it is COVID, right? And then I was able to do research online as well. So definitely the distance learning is a big deal right now. So definitely take advantage of those things. So don't underestimate the tele-rotations. But I think home country experience matters a lot as well. And definitely, I think I made a good impression with my attendings who I worked with via the tele-rotations, because they wrote me some really good letters. And even during the interviews, they would bring up the letters and they would tell me what, because the letters were all weaved, and they would tell me what they said in the letters. And I was really impressed with what the attendings took away from my contributions to the program. And I definitely think even in tele-rotations, you have a good chance of impressing your attendings and making a good impression and walking away with a good letter of recommendation. And one of what one of the previous panelists said as well, if you are able to focus on one specialty, I think this is a good idea as well. If all your letters are in one specialty, all your rotations are in one specialty, all your research is in one specialty, they definitely appreciate that. They like that you are focused on this one specialty and they know that this is what you really want to do. And once they see that, they will invite you for an interview. They will see that this is, you really want to do this and they would really want this person. And definitely practice for your interviews. I think you must have a good rapport with your interviewers. And once they see that you are confident, you are able to carry on conversations with them. Of course, you must be able to answer the questions, but they want to be able to see you as a person who they can talk with on a daily basis and to carry on with, because this is someone you'll be working with for the next 3 or more years. So definitely practice for your interviews as well. So yes, I know I said I had to leave a little bit early. It's because I worked last night, so I thought I would be tired today, but I am able to stay on a little bit and answer any questions if anyone has them. So
Thank you,
that's
Travis,
my summary.
and keep us posted on the England West Indies scorecard. I know that there's a K5 today. I
Yes.
follow cricket. Yeah. So let's move on to Praneeth now. Now you may think recent graduates have not had their challenges, but he has had his set of challenges. So Praneeth, why don't you talk us through your challenges and how you overcame those?
Hey Pavan, hello everyone. Praneeth here, and I graduated last year, and I matched to internal medicine. And yes, like Pavan was mentioning, I'm a relatively recent graduate, but um, I will talk about the challenges that I faced during the pandemic. Like a lot of people have these questions, like, there are no rotations, research, volunteering opportunities now when the US travel ban, everything. So how do we go about it? So I had very good rotation scheduled at Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic in the US. And a week after entering the US, they got canceled due to the pandemic and I was stuck there. But I didn't waste any time, from the very next week, I started looking for opportunities and doing anything that came my way, like tele, remote research, creating posters, or any other online volunteering activities. Like you would be surprised, for example, like one day I saw a post on the Facebook forums about a physician posting about asking for help for writing an FDA approval for a particular drug, and I helped him with that. And then after that, I got connected to people in the hospital, and I emailed the CEO asking for a clinical rotation, and that's how I could do a very good hands-on clinical rotation during the peak of the pandemic. And I reached out to various physicians who I don't even know. And one of the physicians, when I asked for clinical rotations, he gave me an opportunity to write questions. And working on a software for step 3, I can't tell you how immensely that helped me. And like I work with USMLE Sarthi, creating YouTube videos, step 1 mentoring, and that helped me a lot. And a lot of people also wonder about volunteering opportunities. Like I didn't know which volunteering activities to join, what to do. So I started my own with a couple of other students and peers like me. I started working on my own projects, community outreach activities, webinars, in-person awareness campaigns. And I can't tell you or emphasize how much programs liked it. They wanted to know about it, and they were very impressed with that. So all I'm trying to say is I also reached out to one of the senior and asking for research opportunities. And that senior is not someone I know. I met him through the USMLE journey. And that way I could work, show my dedication, passion, and publish around 7 articles with him. So all I'm trying to say is basically don't think there are no opportunities in this pandemic. I did all the above with in the peak of the pandemic with zero connections from my medical school or my own people. So do look for those opportunities, email people, show your genuine interest in, don't be tired. I'm just only telling what worked for me, but there are multiple attempts that I made which didn't work. So keep pushing, show your genuine interest, play your strengths when you're asking for opportunities, play your strengths over there, and never hesitate to ask for help. For those who think I'm from a relatively new medical school with no one going in the USMLE path. So if someone out there is also thinking they don't have alumni or connections in the US, then I made it possible during my rotations in the US. And that's where Sarthi community helped me find a lot of seniors and physicians, and they were helping me in a lot of situations during this journey. So it is, I imagine, to a good program coming from a relatively new medical school. So I just want to give hope to you that it is possible. It just needs extra efforts, good planning, and don't hesitate to ask for help when you need. And finally, I would say, like, if someone is thinking match is all about good scores, some good rotations and LORs, no, that's not how it is. I had good scores. I was a recent graduate, but Sarthi helped me in the nitty-gritty things, the minute things, like, for example, program outreach, shaping your CV and personal statement, and playing your strengths during the interviews. So all these things matter a lot and make a huge impact, despite of your profile, good scores, old graduate, new graduate, whatever it is. So that's where I'm very thankful to Sarthi family. And yes, that's my advice.
Thank you, Praneeth. You actually show the importance of reaching out, being proactive, and above all, being humble. You're one of the most humble persons I've found. So thank you. Now let's take a different track. I want to go to Harsh, who matched at Mayo Clinic. So let's hear his journey and the challenges he overcame. So Harsh.
Yep. Okay. Thanks a lot, Pawan, for the welcome. So my name is Harsh Patel. I'm a 2019 graduate, and I recently matched at Mayo Clinic for family medicine. So now coming to the challenges I faced, to start with, like, I have pretty average scores, to be honest, in the step 1, to be honest. So now I had to figure a way out on how to improve the rest of my profile to compensate the scores. But as Pranit mentioned, the COVID time was tough, and like many people had their hands on rotation booked up into various good places, but that thing couldn't happen. So at that point of time, I was doing non-medical jobs also. So at that point of time, I had to take any opportunity I got. So I did virtual rotations, I did remote research, I did some volunteer work online, worked in simulation lab. So the whole point is when you have to compensate for some part of the profile with other, you have to grab anything that comes in your way. You cannot be picky that, hey, I'm not going to do virtual. You have to do that. Since most of the interviews, they don't care about the rotations. They only care about what you learn and how much you know the system. Since when you are sitting in front of the interviewer, all they want to know is like, even if you have 20 months of USC and 1 month of USC, they should know that you know the system very well, you know how to interact with the patients, you know how to communicate with the faculty member, and you will be a good team member. So that's the main key. So covering each and every small aspects of your profile is the key to any match. Now, the next step is the application when the Sarthi team comes into action. So I had all the experience and all, but like the framing those things into an application file is very important. And you need to, like if I got in family medicine, but I also did rotations in internal medicine. So now I have to frame it accordingly. So what I did in internal was, like I mentioned, that I wanted to know the long-term treatment of diabetes and hypertension, how these things are going on, and to tell the family medicine programs that I did this for my preventive care aspect. So framing your CV is the most important aspect. And now coming to the personal statement, like I had my own thoughts and I had my own life story to tell, but I had a blurry image, to be honest, of like everything. But like Sarthi team helped me to frame it and get a clear image, since you have to get your thoughts and your life story in one piece of paper, and you have to make it like likable, to be honest. They should like it when they see it, since they get thousands of applicants and you have to stand out. And that's where I believe the Sarthi team helped me a lot. And my mentor helped me a lot in improving certain aspects of my personal statement. And now the third aspect is the interviews. Like as everyone told, interviews are the key aspect to any match. So coming to the interviews, the mock interview sessions helped me a lot. So basically they taught me on how to express my whole story and how to express myself in that particular 30-minute time frame. Since once you're giving the interviews, you don't have much time. You got 30 minutes to impress the opposite person. And when you see the recently with the virtual interviews, they are giving interviews to many people. So there will be 10 people waiting in back off, and you have just 5-10 minutes to create an impression, which the interviewer will remember amongst the 10 candidates. So you have to be very precise and clear of what your thoughts are when you're doing an interview. You cannot move away from a topic. You have to answer precisely. So that's what the mock interview training definitely helped me a lot. And for me, the interview was the game-changing factor for me. And the last thing I need to advise is the communication after you apply. Since, to be honest, I had no idea of how that thing worked. The letter of interest, I just thought that you apply, you'll get the interviews, you will be good to go. But the team helped me with the program outreach. And to be like, I got 7 interviews, and 4 to 5 of them were due to letter of interest. I sent them the letter of interest, since, as I said, my scores were pretty average. So I might have been filtered out initially when I applied. So the program outreach helped me on, like, the one email that you send has to include all the aspects of your application. Like you did where, how much did you work, what is your passion, why is your interest? So that letter matters a lot. And that's what I believe the team helped me in designing a perfect letter to express my thoughts, and the input provided by them definitely helped me matched into a wonderful, wonderful program. So thanks to all the team, and I'll be open to questions.
Thank you, Harsh. Let me now go to Roshni and others who had lower number of interviews. So Roshni, talk to us about how you made the best of what you got in terms of just a fewer interview count.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Pawan sir, for this opportunity to share our thoughts. I believe I was in a similar webinar last year as a student post-match day, learning from our seniors what their experience was. And that was one reason why I started this journey with USMLE Sarthi. So I would like to begin with saying that I'm a non-US IMG. My year of graduation is 2018, and my step 1 score is 214. And I matched in internal medicine categorical with 4 interviews. And I would like to first of all thank Pawan sir and Sarthi team for the guidance throughout. So first of all, I would like to begin with, I started my matching application season as early as March 21. When I was first talking to Pawan sir, I told that this is my work experience so far, and I want to know like what is going to improve my application. And I started my COVID duties as early as March 21 because I didn't have an opportunity to travel outside the country. And I heard that COVID experience was golden at that time, and I just went straight to largest COVID ICU in my city, and I just joined a position there, and that's how everything started. This after this, I started doing tele rotations for almost 3 months at the peak of the pandemic when we couldn't travel. Though I had a visa, I couldn't travel because of the restrictions and stuff. And these 3 tele rotations were in the evenings in my time, and thankfully I could manage my duty with some tele rotation. And I also asked Pawan sir if any other way I can improve my application, and he told about remote research, try for any positions, I mean any position you can get. And then I asked my attendings in the tele rotation if they have any opportunities at all. And with their help, I was able to get some experience in research, do some review articles with my attendings, and get few publications during my stay here. And in August, there was some release of travel restrictions, and they were talking about something called as an NIE, with which you can travel and everything. Thanks to the Telegram group, again in Sarthi, without which I wouldn't have learned about this NIE and the ability to travel to the US during in the middle of pandemic. And I went to the US for my clinical experience. I got 2 months of US clinical experience in person at this time. And I think that was one of the major part of my application during that period. With my red flags, I wanted to just stand out somehow. And I think Sarthi guided me the right way. I did 2 in-person rotations as suggested by the Sarthi team. I think they were the best rotations I could do under some amazing mentors who give me excellent LORs, which outstood others in my interview day. And that was one big step, I believe. And the other points to mention was step 3 exam was a very important requirement. I think anybody with low scores, they need to improve their subsequent step and give a step 3 much before the application process begins. And that was a key thing. And volunteering is something they value a lot in the US. 2 of the interviews, I was really appreciated for volunteering at underserved parts of the US. And I think that was one of the golden things which I learned from Sarthi. I told them I couldn't afford any further rotations after 2 months of US clinical experience. And Pawan sir was like, do whatever opportunity you get, be it any volunteering, just take it. And you can't say in the interview that I'm not doing anything, I'm preparing for an exam, just not something they want to hear. And I just walked in the place where I was living. I was looking at some clinics, and I got an opportunity to volunteer at a federally qualified health center as a medical assistant. And I took up this opportunity, and I was volunteering there for 3 months. And thankfully, during this period, I was able to complete my step 3 exam as well. And all my interviews were in January, and my step 3 results came out by then, thankfully. And I was able to share my 3 months of valuable volunteering experience of what I got with my interviews. And I think another big thing about getting Sarthi's help is the CV, the personal statement, and the outreach. I think all these matter a lot, especially with people with red flags. And the outreach was one of the significant part of my application as well. I made sure that I could outreach via mail, calls, 4 times throughout the application season to all my programs, as much as I could. I think that increased my chances of getting more interviews over the period of time. And that is why, I mean, all my interviews were in January. I didn't get any call the 3 months before that. And I was outreaching continuously, relentlessly. And at the end of December, I was invited for all these interviews. So that was a very big step. And post-interview communication, that was the letter of intent, and all these what we learned from Sarthi were all golden, and that worked out so perfectly well. Now I'm able to already connect with my program director, program coordinator. They called me and wished me post-match, they were confident that I would match, and all these because I was able to communicate effectively through the season to them with letters of interest, letter of intent, and all these. I think all these process together was what got me a match today, and I'm very thankful for the Sarthi team for making this happen for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roshni. And I think there are some questions for you on the chat as well. Let me now go to Seema, who's been very diligently waiting, and some of you are diligently waiting. So Tejasvi, Srikanth will come, and Nayan as well. So Seema, why don't you talk about volunteering and other aspects of your profile that helped you match?
Of course, thank you so much, sir. Hi, everyone. My name is Seema Balasubramaniam, graduated from Bharatiya Vidyapith Medical College in 2018. And this match, I got accepted to a categorical child neurology residency position at Thomas Jefferson University. Well, child neurology is not IMG friendly to begin with. So I'm just going to walk you through in brief about my journey. Like Pawan sir mentioned earlier, I had the low average scores for the specialty in my step 1. What did I do to rectify it? Well, I got an awesome jump on CK, and as all my fellow panelists have advised, I took my step 3 well before the application season even began. So on my USMLE transcript, I naturally had all the exam scores. Now, coming down to the 2 sections that are mostly, I won't say ignored, but they're not utilized in our application, and that would be hobbies and interests and the volunteering section. We've all been told you have to get good scores, USCE, research experience, and publications. So what sets you apart from the rest of the applicants out there? It's how you put yourself, you have to, let me say. Now, I like to talk, and public speaking is one of my strengths. Being said about this, in 2020, when I was working in pediatric neurology department in India, I realized about the bread and butter cases and that most of the peds neuro cases are rare. So we don't have treatments, and hence most of the children have to be enrolled to a clinical trial. Now, what I'm trying to suggest is this is where I help 2 kids in India who are diagnosed with rare disease get enrolled to an ongoing clinical trial in India. This was what advocacy meant, which I didn't know. To me, it was as simple as getting the child his treatment, crowdfunding sources, get all the NGOs involved so that the child could be helped to be enrolled to a treatment. Long story short, when I moved to the US, I wanted to be able to continue this, and I started volunteering for an organization where I kept connecting with patients, parents, rare disease patients. And then, fortunately, I got to attend this rare disease legislative assembly meeting at the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., where I could speak to the senators and the House of Representatives, asking them to emphasize more on the rare disease policies. So this is all I'm talking about, the volunteering opportunities, how that set me apart from the applicants. What I'm trying to say is, show the programs who you are. They want to know you. All of us have scores. You need to set yourself apart if you want your application to be picked amongst hundreds of applicants out there. And one good thing came out of this meeting was I met 2 of my interviewers again when they were interviewing me, because even they happened to attend the legislative assembly meeting. So this is, and they look for your passion in that specialty. They want to see if you'll go to that extent, whatever it takes to achieve it. And I can't stress it enough. You need to tie your hobby section really carefully with your volunteer opportunities. And how did Sarthi help me? I would always read panelist messages at the end of the night. That was in my to-do list every day. And I would see one panelist commenting on how he was interested in fashion industry and how that helped him with his interview trail back then in 2019. One of the panelists spoke about how she was interested in reading tarot cards and how she could strike a conversation with program directors. So you need to be, I'm not saying unique, but just give a different spin to an application just so it can be picked amongst the rest of them out there. And there you have, and I'm sure you'll do good. Obviously, the other things are always to do, but I think if you can tie your hobbies carefully with your volunteering section, then I guess you're in for a good ride.
Yeah. Thank you, Seema. So what I think you demonstrate is your hobbies and passion. You all know it, you have it. It's just how you package it here and how you bring it out in your application, in your interviews. So I think that is some skill that everyone needs to learn. Thank you, Seema. All right. So now let's go to those of you who may be repeat applicants who may have tried a couple of times. And I know Srikanth, you wanted to talk about being a repeat applicant, although others on the panel have alluded to it as well. But let's go to you and get your thoughts.
All right. Hello, guys, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever it is in your time zone. Thanks, Pawan, for giving me this opportunity. So I'll just begin by saying, talking about my journey. So I actually graduated in 2017 from India, and my way was to go to step 2 CS, then 1 and 2 CK onwards. So I had, for me, all it was just you give the exams, you have 3 LORs and you apply, right? That's what internet is going to give you the information about. If you ask anyone else to tell you briefly, that's what they're going to say, that you do these checklists and you apply and you're going to match. And that's exactly what I thought. I just did exams. I did the CV, PS, and I just sent it in. First year, no interviews, 0. And at the end of the year, a new program opened at the end of the year and they gave me an interview, but it was just a namesake interview. I literally flew to India and back again to US for that one interview. And I did not match. Second year, that's when COVID came in, and I was closely involved in home country experience. So I had 8 to 9 months of COVID duty in my CV. So this time I was confident because a lot of people told that that's going to work positively in your, direction. Again, nothing. So by this time I was really confused. I was like out of my mind, and I was just not able to pinpoint what exactly was going wrong, because the profile was average good enough to match, like people with lower scores or, okayish profile were also matching as compared to me. And I was just confused. So I remember that just after the match results on March 16, 17 last year, even before SOAP, I called Pawan. I was like, I cannot take this anymore. I need to get this done. I know I'm a good candidate and we have to do this. So I sent him my CV. He analyzed it, and he said that with this credentials, most of my students have matched, and you definitely have a very good match rate. We just need to work completely on your profile. So what began last year, 2020 March, ended up now today with 5 interviews and matched in IM categorical. And from 0, 0 to 0, 1 to now 5, obviously there was a major change in my profile, right? And second part of my here talk is that how Sarthi helped me. So I had a good enough credential or average CV enough to match. What was missing was how I was presenting it, as Seema and said, and Praneeth said, Jannat, all of us, spoke before this, is that we tend to underplay a lot of our achievements or hobbies or any kind of things a lot, especially IMGs. We might, like, even if you got someone, arranged a blood bank, blood donor for someone, we'll just write it as arranged a blood donor for someone. That's it. We just put it in one simple line, which nobody even cares about. Yes. But what it matters is how you present. I did not even know there were so many layers in just CV alone. So I sent in my CV, my mentor reviewed it, Pawan reviewed it, journalist reviewed it. It was rewritten 4, 5, 6 times, made perfect. Same with the PS. And once they were perfect, then they were sent in, and then it worked. So what I would like to tell everyone is that if you are a repeat applicant, and just like me, there might be some people who applied a couple of times and just got shattered with 0 interviews. And definitely is the confidence shattering experience. But rather than going down the rabbit hole, just analyze your CV, analyze your whole application. So if you need Sarthi's help, or if you want to do it on your own, whatever it might be, you have to analyze it. And that's exactly where Sarthi helped me. As others said, we would read Telegram messages, even for work experience, even for voluntary experience, how to write it, what to do, who's doing what everywhere. So it's a huge networking community in itself, because there are so many people present inside the Telegram group that you end up creating your own group for interview preparation. That's what happened. Pawan would remember. Someone created their own group, step 3, for interviews, for neuro interviews. I did mock interview for someone else in the group who was applying in neuro. They did for me. So that you would not imagine the amount of networking you will get and the amount of support you will get. So if you are a repeat applicant, don't lose hope, analyze your whole application and move forward. That's all from me.
Thank you, Srikanth. And I think you also bring this good point about networking and peer group. Whether you are in Sarthi or outside Sarthi, I think the peer group makes a lot of difference. You have to get together with others. You cannot just be frustrated behind a closed door by yourself. get a group together. That group, all of you with the same goal, helping each other, will definitely lead to very, very positive results. Thank you. Thank you. Now let me go to Nain, a candidate who had many, many, many interviews, but she always thought that she lacked confidence, and I was pushing her, no, you will match. So Nain, walk us through your journey, how you overcame the lack of confidence.
Yes, Pawan. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Nhain. I am originally from Myanmar, and I graduated in 2014, and I have CS attempt. And most of my friends already cover about their all years of graduation and some reflex. So today I would like to share about my lack of confidence and how I made to improve it. So when I joined Sarthi group, I met a lot of friends who were in the similar situation. So we did a study group and we practiced interview every day and repeatedly. And I remember at the end of October, I was still rambling during my very first few interview. And at the end of November and December, I learned how to speak slowly and clearly. And in January and late December, I was able to show my enthusiasm in my interview answer. So all in all, I would like to suggest that practice and also making connection. This year, I got 8 interviews from the help of my mentors and study partners and volunteer partner. And I believe this is where the connection starts. And I would like to suggest please be kind and helpful to each other. There will be a good connection and helpful to you one day. And also I really appreciate Pawan, my mentor, and whole Sarthi team to improving my credential and also helping me along the way to the journey to residency.
Thank you, Nain. And I think you are also a good example of 2 things. If you need something, you have to reach out, you have to ask for help. And second, you have to help others as well, because you never know who can help you, who will help you. It is a competition, but if you work together, then if you help others, you will also get help. So thank you, Nain.
And also I forgot to mention one thing. This year I was able to increase my interview number from 1 to 31. And what I did was I tried to get out of my comfort zone and reach out to the programs by sending email, calling to the programs. I think that makes a huge impact too. So.
Thank you, Nain, and congratulations on the number of interviews, 31. So that's a great number.
Thank you, Pawan.
Okay, last but not the least, we have Tejasvi, who also had a very unique journey, and I will let her talk about it. I don't want to spoil that.
Hi, Pawan, thank you. First of all, congratulations to all of you for matching, and I'll definitely give the credit to Sarthi, most of it. So my journey is I did not apply in the main match, and I matched in self. So the thing is, last season I applied in the main match, but I did not get any interviews up until December. In December, I remember calling Pawan and asking him what I should do for the next season. And he was like, oh, this season is not over yet. Go ahead and send your interest emails. I was like, Pawan, it's already not even December, it was February. So he insisted and I sent 1 round of emails and I ended up getting 2 interviews in the main match last year, which was just like a week before the rank order list was being sent. But I did not match. What I did this year was I could not apply in the main match because of some reasons, but I still kept sending the interest emails. I sent the interest emails until a day before the rank order list was being finalized, telling them that I could not apply, but if there's any position open, I would like to apply now. It was not because there would any position be open, but I was hoping they would remember my emails when I go in for the SOAP. which is what happened exactly, because I had a tracker on my email and I saw that some of the programs, including the program where I matched, opened my email just a day before. So that was one thing which worked. And second thing is exactly like what Moomin said, keep working in whatever field you get, even if it's different from the field you want to apply to. So I applied in general surgery, but I have been working for 1.5 years in an IM clinic. And the doctor where I work, Dr. Saad, most of you know, he put in a word for me actually. He also got me a few surgery rotations. So I used to work 4 days in his clinic, 2 days in another like surgery rotations, and got my surgery LORs. And his clinic was also an urgent care. So he let me assist on some surgical procedures, knowing my interest, and he gave me an LOR accordingly to match my surgery residency application. And another thing is like Seema and Shrikant, everyone mentioned, read the Telegram messages. That was my point, even Roshni mentioned, I think, because I would definitely read every message. My family knew I was always on the phone, like always. If I was not studying or preparing for USMLE, I was on the phone reading the messages, and my family had a hell about it, but do that. Because there was something which I think Dr. Catherine Tan mentioned, which she did, was when she was rotating and doing her on-site things, she also was working on a remote research. So interviewers were like, how did you manage to do all these? So I thought, when she can, why can't I? So I sent in emails asking for remote research positions. I actually went to Cleveland because it was nearby, telling them I was in the city, I want to meet and all that. And I got a remote research position. So at nights and on Sundays, when I was not working in the clinics or doing my rotations, I was working on this remote research. So I think those things help. So I'm going to stress again, whatever questions you have, and also the questions which you think you do not have, you will get answers in the Telegram group. So it's like a library of all the answers. So keep reading those messages. And another thing I want to stress is the personal statement. So Sarthi gives you 2 reviews or 3 reviews, depending on the plan you are in. But they also tell you that have your personal statement reviewed by your friends or your others. I did that. 2 of other students from Sarthi reviewed my personal statement. And also like mock interviews, it's the same thing. People from Sarthi interviewed me, the students, they did mocks for me. So utilize that group and be consistent. So, and reach out, send emails. I cannot stress enough. Last year, the 2 interviews I got was mostly because of the emails, and this year, the same thing. I kept sending emails and I got it. So, yep, that's from my side.
Thank you, Tejasvi. And I think the other point that you bring up, an important one, is even if you're not getting a job or volunteering or any activity in your chosen specialty, do what you're getting, because you can always link it. Because I know you're working with Dr. Saad, and he's, like you said, in IM, and you wanted surgery. So these connections can be made, and you can still have your CV showcase your interest in that specialty. So that is an important part. Thank you. So any other comments from our panel? We are 4 minutes over. Anyone wants to have any closing thoughts? And before you do that, okay, so I'm going to stop here and see if any one of my panelists has questions, or not. If you want to wrap up, or your last minute thoughts, anyone?
Yes, actually, I want to add something.
Yes.
Yeah, so actually, how I actually joined Sarthi, I came about a YouTube video from a Sudanese doctor. He was in the same situation as I was. He matched into pathology. I watched his video, and like I could relate to him. So Sarthi is great in, like, you can relate. There is all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds with all kinds of different variations, and you can find somebody that you will relate to. And also, I remember my first time when I called to talk with a Sarthi member. She gave me a really good hint that actually landed me an interview. So I talked to her. I told her, I'm local here. There is a residency program. She said, why don't you just walk there and ask them? I just did what she said, and I got an interview. That's how I got the interview. So I'm very grateful for Sarthi.
Roshni, I think you are also trying to wrap up something. Yeah.
I was just trying to answer a question about a comment on volunteering. So this medical assistant volunteering position I was telling about, I think Dr. Yosef had asked about what qualifications did they ask for. So basically they asked for my CV and they asked for my vaccination proof. And it was a peak of Omicron wave at that time. And they asked me if I was ready to work at COVID, and I told them I have experience working in COVID, and this volunteering will greatly help my profile in the application. I'm an applicant this season, and initially they're not going to provide you with a medical assistant kind of job role. I was initially just told to monitor temperature at the entrance for like around a week, and then eventually my supervisor recognized that I was volunteering more often, and then I was able to communicate to her that this is what I'm looking for, and if I can get opportunity to be at outpatient center, it will be much useful for me to learn and know about patients here and about working in underserved setting and all that. And then she eventually let me to go to the outpatient. Initially, the job role was like taking blood pressure, vitals, taking vitals to the patients, directing to the room. And then eventually that getting recognized that I was there. My senior medical assistants, they started letting me use the EMR system and then working up patients. And they taught me how they do the rapid tests, and I started assisting them. And I was eventually, over a period of a month, I was able to do a proper role of a medical assistant as a volunteer. But I think in US, they recognize your motivation to do better. And if you keep on showing up on a daily basis, they will let you be part of their team as much as possible. So
thank you. Thank you, Roshni. Jannat, I know you had some comments, some closing comments.
Yes, so to wrap up, I just again want to thank the Sarthi team, and I just want to tell all the applicants that, if we can make it this far, so can you. Just stay motivated, and I mean, it's easier said than done, but definitely it is possible. Just keep going, and I just want to say that no opportunity is small. Nothing is, everything has value. So grab every opportunity you can get, and don't think that this is a small opportunity, even if it's volunteering. Anything that you can get your hands on, just start from somewhere. I think that's very, very important. As Harsh mentioned as well, he said that don't be picky about like what experiences, you want or what you don't want. Just grab whatever you can and just keep working, every single day towards your goals. And I wish you all a lot of good luck, and thank you, Sarthi team, once again.
Thank you. Harsh, you had some parting comments.
Yeah, so I just have a good advice for family medicine applicants, and as you might see that the non-US IMG ratio for family medicine is constantly declining. Even this time around, it's only 10 to 12%. So it's a tough competition out there. So one thing, good advice would be show a dedicated profile, especially if you're applying to family medicine, since they want students who don't have second options. Like they know if you're applying to internal. So just for family medicine, get an honest profile, show your full dedication. Even if you have rotations in different field, that's okay. But your personal statement and the rest of your CV should be a dedicated one that you want to be a family medicine physician and you have the dedication that you can be a good person. And the other thing is you need to have good communication skills. So for family physicians, you need to start talking, going to the clinic, talk long with the patient, sincere. There is no limit in talking to the patients. You can take 30, 40 minutes. That's okay. But just make sure you connect with the patient right when the patient walks in. And that's what the family medicine residency people want, since it's all about building relations and communicating the patient and convincing the patients, especially in US healthcare where patients are sometimes reluctant to get into certain medicine, going to get vaccinated. So your communication and convincing skills are the most important. So please develop that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Harsh. Well, that was all. Very, very thankful to my panel, all our students, part of now the Sarthi alumni family. Appreciate your time. Good luck to all of you, and especially those who are coming to Phoenix or Arizona, Moomin, Roshni. I hope to see you in person, and Seema, we've already met. So anyone else, thank you, everyone. And for our audience, this is just to motivate you. You guys can do it, like my panel said. And good luck to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, guys.
Bye. Bye.